Good afternoon, everyone. It's Hanifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about discernment. And a lot of people have heard this word. Some people use the word, and many people do not spend too much time thinking about it. And I've been contemplating it for a while. And I guess it's helping me in my discernment, and I hope it will help you today when I chat with you about it. I came across the first quote that I wanted to share with you, which is by Glenda Green, and I thought this was an excellent description. So it says, the practice of discernment is part of a higher consciousness. Discernment is not just a step up from judgment. In life's curriculum, it is the opposite of judgment. Through judgment, a man reveals what he needs to confront and learn. Through discernment, one reveals what he has mastered. And this is so interesting, right? So many people will say, I know how people are. I'm a very good judge of character. I can discern people. I can figure out what's good and not good. Like I can just tell how they're thinking. All those things are judgments, right? So of course, I judge through the perspective that I look from, right? And so then I think that, okay, I'm judging that person is not so good. And yeah, what do I really know about them? And I'll just avoid them. So that's fine, right? And it's again, people will say, I'm discerning what I need to do in this situation. But when we come back to ourselves of, what makes me feel like they're not good? Is it the way they're dressed? Is it the way they're speaking? Is it the way they looked at me? Is it the way they spoke to me? And then what am I thinking? I'm judging how they looked at me, how they spoke at me, to me, how they behaved with me. That's my judgment, right? And that awareness of, I choose to accept them as they are is a very different space from judgment. And this is a change in our level of consciousness. And of course, it requires some mindful attention to how am I thinking about the situation that I'm in? How am I thinking, speaking, and behaving from the situation that I'm in? And that's a very big step away from judgment. So then the next quotation that I came across is discernment is not knowing the difference between right and wrong. It is knowing the difference between right and almost right. So when I think about this same situation, I see someone who is looking at me unkindly, maybe speaking to me unkindly, maybe behaving unkindly. And the right thing is, okay, I won't say anything. I know that they're not in a good spot and I'm just going to not say anything. Maybe I know that they're really not saying anything nice to me. And knowing that I could tell them this, I could just say, this is what I think about how you're behaving or how you're speaking or how you're looking at me. And discernment goes a little beyond that. How come I'm feeling this way, right? Can I be loving in this space where I know someone is not looking at me kindly, someone is not speaking to me kindly, someone is not behaving kindly? Can I be in a loving space? Now, why would I do that? You would think, wow, if someone's speaking not well to you or someone's not behaving well to you, why would you be in a kind spot? And I'd say, because that's who I am. And that awareness of who I am is what makes all the difference in terms of discernment. So today I would love for you to sit for 5 minutes and think about, do you know who you are? Do you know how you think about things, how you speak, and how you behave with others? And do you know why? And I would love for you to think about that, for even if you just think of one person, one situation ideally that was not so comfortable for you. And then how did you think about it? How did you speak about it? And how did you behave in that time? Because a lot of people can also behave properly, right? It's like, you know what? I don't like what they're saying, but I'm just going to tolerate this. And tolerance is not acceptance. Remember that, right? So think about how you are interacting in a situation. There's a lot of people that know how to behave very politely, know how to behave very kindly, very intelligently even. But it does not mean that it's a loving space. And it's not meaning I am being loving to them because I'm not being rude to them when they're being rude to me. but it's not a loving space for ourselves because inside we're thinking about, yeah, I know what kind of person they are and I'm just going to avoid them. And I'll be writing about this in my next blog. But for now, I wanted you to think today for 5 minutes after this video about how do you interact with people from thought, from word, and action? And are you discerning, truly discerning, where you're rising above in your level of consciousness to have an awareness of you? So I leave you with that thought today. And I also wanted to share one last quotation, which says, actually, I am going to share. Give me one sec. I have this great, I found this great little comment. It's a little image of a little fish that's about to bite a hook, right? So it's a fishing line is in the water and this fish is about to bite that hook. Now, what's the hook that people have around them? So this person really gets me not happy, right? Because of how they look at me or how they speak to me or how they behave around me, right? That really hooks me with like, oh, I feel so not so good. And I'll hold back. I'm not going to say anything, but oh boy, I feel it, right? And so this says, even a fish can avoid problems if it keeps its mouth shut. Even a fish can avoid problems if it keeps its mouth shut. Now, a fish might become more intelligent and avoid that hook, right? So maybe it already had the experience with a fishing line and knows, oh, I better not go near that. And fish can learn that too, right? And so we learn that too. What have we learned as humans and how are we different from a fish? Today, I would love for you to question that about yourself and see, are you discerning from that space of loving acceptance of whoever and whatever you meet in the day? I wish you a fabulous day ahead thinking about that. And I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.